to say something.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Animas County Board of County Commissioners. This is a rescheduled meeting agenda. We had to postpone this meeting due to last week we were at Colorado Counties Inc. conference. Today is Tuesday, June 10, 2025. It is 9 a.m. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I want to ask everyone to please rise for an invocation by Commissioner Tony Haas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Lucero.
Dear God, thank you for the abundant moisture of another day. Lord, we come before you today with our hearts full of concern. We pray for the victims of the horrific anti-Semitism attack in Boulder. We pray for our peace officers and the Animas to keep them safe and free from harm during this uncertain time. Be with all of us, protect us and guide us, and give us strength to face any challenges that come our way. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioners. Roll call, Mr. Dorn, Commissioner Cyril. Here, Commissioner Hess. Here, Commissioner. I'm here. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Do you have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Dorn?
One change, Commissioner, asks the board to remove item 9. 090.
Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move it from the agenda. Without deletion. Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Cyril?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, thank you. Thank you once again. Commissioners, item 2, consideration of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025 on the docket. Are there any questions, any recommendations for additions, deletions, whatever you desire? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 20th, 2025.
I won't sing voting on this, I was not for that meeting.
Thank you. I will second that motion.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes. Section 3, reading of correspondence, Commissioner Committee reports. Commissioner Lucero, would you like to go first?
On May 19th, I was attended the Otero Partners Incorporated meeting in Ohana. It's a monthly meeting. We conduct a regular business. We approved one loan at that time for a locksmith in the Ohana area. On May 22nd, 23rd, I attended, along with my fellow commissioners, attended the opioid use disorder seminar at Trinidad State Junior College, presented by Colorado Department of Human Health Services and Trinidad State Junior College, through a grant from the Colorado Opioid Abatement Funds. And they went over how does opioid use affect individuals, families, and the community, and what the community can do to assist in preventing. It was a very, very informative seminar. I think substance abuse has probably touched everybody in one way or another, so there is help out there. If a person wants to get help, there's sources available within our community for that. Also on June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I attended the CCI Summer Conference. It was my first time at a summer conference like this up in Vail. They had several good breakout sessions. One of them was agrivoltaics. That was a program that incorporates solar facilities with ag programs. It was very, very interesting. And I'm going to get with our planning that, and then use director to go over some of that stuff with him. There is some stuff online that you can go through. It's pretty interesting. Also, they went over some federal funding impacts on Colorado counties, which is it's going to be challenging for budgets for the next, not a year or two, but several years. So, also on June 7th, I attended the 26th annual fishing tournament at Monument Lake, hosted by the Stonewall Fire Auxiliary. It's their annual fundraiser, the biggest fundraiser. They had a very good turnout for that. Also back in, I think it was March, I got a call from Ray Costa, who's one of the directors for the San Isabel District, and informed us, he requested that if we had any rural projects that they could help fund through their grant program in cooperation with CoBank, a bank that they use. I mentioned that we had the livestock pavilion at the fairgrounds needed upgrades for their electrical program up there. Mr. Dornkamp did send an application in. We received, I think, $30,000 altogether between the two companies to get that done. So I'd like to thank San Isabel on behalf of the board and for this. I don't think the work has started yet. I think it will be done before fair time at the end of July, I think. So it's a much needed upgrade to that facility. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Haas.
Congrats on that. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
That's great. Long time coming.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the Los Animas County graduates, college graduates, high school graduates. They're probably going to be enjoying the sunshine this week. On the 22nd and 23rd, I attended the opioid use disorder assessing and addressing opioid use. Congratulations on everybody that was involved. What a great and informative conference. 25 presenters in all. This conference addressed what substances are plaguing our communities now, how to tell these drugs apart, and how to combat both the physical and mental effects on the users, the families involved, and the community. And my favorite presentation was the keynote speaker, Lynn Reimer. Lynn is the president of the ACT on Drugs, which is a nonprofit organization with a mission to educate parents, teens, and professionals about the addictive and psychoactive substances, both legal and illegal, and are available in the community. She served with the DEA and on the North Metro Task Force and has educated teachers and students and parents, communities, employers, governmental agencies about drug awareness for the past 20 years. And for such a sober topic to talk about, if she could put a little comedy on the spin, which made it very enjoyable to sit through. Otherwise, it would have been pretty taxing. For our neighbors to the west of Los Angeles County and Castilla County, they asked me for assistance, anything I could do to help with their high fencing on that Cielo Vista Ranch. For you, the governor signed HB 25-1023, the legislation addressing the construction of a 20-mile-long high-security fence in Castilla County that obstructed community access to historically shared lands. Cielo Vista Ranch constructed the fence, however the fence prevents residents from exercising their rights under the Sanger de Cristo land grabs of 1844. The grant allowed them to raise livestock, gather firewood, practice religious traditions on the land. Representatives Bacon and Martinez brought the bill forward and garnered support from the Attorney General's office. So I'm glad that we put that to bed. Also on the 28th, the Spanish Peaks Outdoor Coalition had their meeting. They received a rather large CPW planning grant of $250,000. GOCO has been awarded $50 million from the Colorado Outdoor Strategies Partnership, the RPIs, the Regional Partnership Initiative. And over the next 5 years, that will be disseminated with $10 million a year. And for the 9 regions that have been identified in the Colorado Outdoor Partnership. Still, I sit on that board. I sit on the executive co-op board, and while I'm there, I'm on the First Private Property Rights and the rural perspective. Also, then on the 29th, I attended the EIF Advisory Committee meeting, and there were going to be 40 Tier 1 applications that were reviewed, 4.8 million in requests for the first Tier 1, and 3 million was awarded. There's 15 million total available for this round, and there's 33 Tier 2 applications that are submitted for a total of 12 million. We'll be reviewing next week. I believe it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll be attending that in person because I want to remember that EIF, why it was formed, was for those heavily impacted communities, not for communities that don't have that stress put on them by mineral extraction. Also, there was 60 million from our reserve taken to help balance the governor's budget. And there won't be any funds available next year. And they're not going to have any in the reserves. And if we're lucky, we'll have one round next year. Normally we have 3 or 4 rounds a year. But I guess we've been slow since 2019. And we've had at least 3 rounds every year. But no longer. We don't have the fund for it. On the 2nd of June, we were at the conference. We did have a special session to declare Los Animas County a non-sanctuary county. Despite the report that was out that said that we were a sanctuary county, we made sure that that was withdrawn, and we got that accomplished also during the 3 days we were up there. All 3 commissioners attended Colorado Counties Incorporated. Their summer session, breakout session topics included evolving economics, interstate water compacts, agrivoltaics, county insurance navigating, political demographics, federal funding and influx, state funding influx, past legislation and their effects on county government, and much more. I also moderated an ag topic panel and participated in another panel. And that's where it goes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, fellow commissioners. The Colorado Counties Incorporated last Monday, I had an opportunity to spend pretty much the afternoon with DHS going over assessing the funding formula that is going to be funding the programs at the state when it comes to DHS. I had an opportunity to work with pretty much every county there, and some recommendations that came out of there is the state, of course, is $1.2 billion in deficit, so a lot of the programs may not have the funding required to run. So the formula that was adopted, at least for 1 year, it's a big complex, but nonetheless will get us through the process to work and see what programs will be able to survive and be viable at the end of it. On that particular meeting, I personally made a recommendation to the Colorado Department of Human Services to assess all of the statutory mandated programs and the ones that are not. Because some of the programs simply we just pick them up because we have an influx of dollars, and now that the dollars are going to be a bit scarcely distributed, so the state, through the executive directors, is going to be calling a statewide meeting and assessing if there is any changes to be made to that. One of the topics that was a lot of interest to me was we had the National Association of Counties, NACO, a representative that came, whom I happened to have heard before, talking about artificial intelligence and the challenges, but yet the opportunities were the same. How artificial intelligence is now becoming part of our everyday government business to facilitate the navigation of a lot of paperwork. So something that perhaps through a NACO Edge, we may be able to get a presentation to the county, Mr. Burlington. And one of the challenges that they said is to be careful and see what platforms a county chooses. So I asked the presenter to give us a list of highly recommended platforms so we could deploy that. Mr. Lucero was also in attendance at that meeting, so one of the questions is even to take minutes, and if you wanted to redact something on it. So there's a lot of good that comes out of this, but yet carefully assessing who the vendor and platform is going to be. Important stuff. This coming Thursday, we're going to have the Southeast Colorado Region 19 opioid settlement funds. We're going to have a press release in Pueblo, 10:30 in the morning. If anybody's interested in joining us, we're going to be meeting at the Pueblo, I believe it's the Sheriff's Office. So the 9 counties that are part of the LACC, we're going to be there, and we have sent out a press release. We had a meeting yesterday of CCOR, and one of the questions that, of course, I asked, I'd like to see how many dollars we have awarded through Region 19 to vendors, and how many people have received the services through these dollars when it comes to the opioid challenges. We're going to have 2 of the recipients of our grant presenting on the challenges of the opioid in Southeast Colorado. We had a couple of presenters yesterday, and one of the comments that they made, rural counties, Southeast Colorado is one of the most impacted regions in the state of Colorado when it comes to per capita opioid usage. So, and just a little promotional item here, the opioid conference that we had a couple of weeks ago at Trinidad State could be watched on Mr. Murphy actually take the whole presentation in there, and the keynote speaker was such a tremendous, well-spoken, well-presented individual that I'm going to be connecting her with the National Association of Counties to do a presentation at the national level. She's that good. She's very good. So we're going to be promoting that because, as commissioners have said, she was very, very informative, yet when she told us, when you stop at a gas station and you pick up a product, that may have opiates. What? So she went through the process and how some of these items are not regulated. So if you get an opportunity, go check that, and there's a lot of information. We had a meeting last week with the Scenic Highway of Legends, of which I'm part of that board, and there is now, I believe it's on exit, coming off the Raton Pass northbound, there's a billboard inviting people to take the Scenic Highway of Legends route so we can increase a little more traffic, create a little more economic opportunity. And so we have a grant that was awarded that's actually going to be managed. The fiscal agent is going to be South Central Council of Governments, and through that grant there's going to be a lot more signage coming from northbound, southbound, and to connect Highway 12 through both Walsenburg, Avita, and vice versa, Trinidad, and all the way around, so we can promote that. At the CCI conference, Maria DeCambra, the Executive Director of Department of Local Affairs, gave an update as to what's going on with the ballot initiative, Proposition 123. You remember that was voted a couple of years ago by the Colorado constituents, and that was to create affordable housing, which affordable now is just a term. More is going to be more than accessible housing, but nonetheless, between NOLA and the Department of OED, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade. They're the fiscal agents of this fund. So I had a question directly to our local and regional director. I would like to see how much money has been collected through that initiative, how much has been spent, who's applying, and perhaps counties can get into the opportunity of using those dollars to create communities and housing. Now, counties, personally, I don't want to get into the landlord business. That's not our lane, but nonetheless, the money is there. And I can tell you that DOLA indicated at our breakout session in the Southern Region that we would be the recipients of about $120 million through the DOLA. That's only a portion. That's 20% of the total recommendation that is coming from Proposition 123. So I hope these dollars are being used properly. And at the conference also, there was a little bit of pushback on some of the legislation that is being proposed by the General Assembly, by Governor Polis, in taking some of the land use regulations away from counties. And as we have the money, one of my fellow commissioners from Summit County made a comment, they have led the way and paved the way to build and look and research affordable housing, and with some of the legislation is going to do is take away those opportunities from the county. So the great opportunity, and then by the way, I invite anyone and all of you to stop by the Senior Citizen at Perry Center Senior Citizen Center on Thursday. There's going to be a celebration there, so if you, between I believe it's 10:30 and 1 o'clock, Mr. Richards, swing by there, talk to the residents and talk to them about emergency procedures. The invitation is being put on by Mr. Aragon at DHS, and so there's going to be a luncheon in there. There's going to be a lot of commingling. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Pueblo with a press release, but we'll have representatives in there. So, gentlemen, thank you. That's going to be my report, and now we're going to move to the next item on the agenda. We are going to go to elected officials updates. Do we have any elected official online? County Assessor, Clerk and Recorder, Treasurer, Sheriff,
Good morning, Commissioners. No updates. I just got some agenda items.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, and we'll speak to you soon. District Attorney, Coroner. Hearing that, now I'm going to go to, we have a couple of presentations this morning. Let me call on Mr. Joe Richards, County Emergency Manager on CWPP. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, board members. Good to see you all. When Commissioner Becerra was talking about mental health issues and help available, he was staring right at me. I don't know what that meant, but I won't take it personally. God bless you. Good news this morning, our CWPP project is moving forward. We had meetings with the state. Our biggest concern was funding, making sure the money was there if we start this program. We're into about $197,000. Mr. Dorke got an email from the Spanish Speaks Outdoor Coalition, who would like to work with us in conjunction with Orfano County, who's got approved for the same CWPP grant, so we can have overlapping or all our industries or mutual aid agreements and all the other things overlap, and make sure we solidify all that stuff so we have a good understanding of what's going on with that. So, I sent her a list and a copy of that to our steering committee. And a lot of people know each other, so I think it'll be a smooth transition and we can help each other. Their question to us is, are we going to hire a consultant? And absolutely we are. And that's one of the reasons I'm here this morning, is to get your blessing. We created a request for pricing for getting a consultant on board, run it by the county attorney. She has blessed it. and we'll just have to implement that through the proper channels and procedures. But before we did that, I wanted to check with you all and make sure that we had your blessing to proceed with the getting a consultant on board.
So, Mr. Richards, thank you so much for bringing this information to us. When we're talking about the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, which is one of the biggest responsibilities that we see now with what is happening in the province. How are you all, is this plan also intertwined with federal and public lands? Because, you know, we have some federal lands on the west part of the county, as well as state-owned lands. How are they also participants within this, or is this going to be by region, or simply by a section, if you will, of each county?
Right. Yes, they will be involved is the short answer to that. And what we're planning on doing is breaking up the county into 3 jurisdictions, as you are represented, because how we fight a wildfire on the prairie is different how we do it in an urban environment and how different we do it in the mountains. That involves Pinyon Canyon, the State Forest Service, and that land that's available, so they will be part of this. The upside of this, some of these plans that they have already are in place, and we can use that information so we don't have to reinvent the wheel and start coordinating everything. So things start blending together. Instead of everybody having their separate plan, we're going to have a unified plan, and again, in conjunction with other counties and neighbors, so that we can work more efficiently and more quickly in a situation.
What is the, and I know you work pretty close with Mr. Laviondo from,
Yes, sir.
and how do you separate, I mean, at the end of the day, that's one plan between 2 counties? Is that what?
Well, it'll be our own plan per se, because that opens up funding for the county for mitigation and implementing our plan for our county. Where the overlap comes in is how do we communicate with other counties, with making sure that mutual aid agreements are up to date, MOUs are up to date, and current, and everybody understands. The biggest problem that we face in the future, in the past, is that we have there's no lack of effort for any incident in this county. Everybody works hard. We need to do it more quickly. And what these agreements will do is get things organized, and everybody will have a copy of that plan. So if someone is not available, all you have to do is open the book, and here's the plan, and we can go get things set up just like we're doing the sheltering right now. As we complete that, hopefully in the next 60, 90 days, we'll be able to set up a shelter in 6 minutes instead of 6 hours. So it's just that kind of thing to get us more on board and how we're going to do things and how we're going to do it more efficiently in the future. And keep it active so that if we have to make adjustments during that time, we can do that. So the money's there to do that with. I think we have plenty of money. We're going to have, when we did this initial plan, my time was short. We put money in there for local, for the Canusa, for example, there's money in there that they can manage this job full time, so it always has attention. They're not waiting on me to make a decision, or if I get pulled off with some other mission, they can do that. Because my funding ended September, so things are going to start adjusting a little bit, to the negative on my time there. So, but we have that covered in the plan. We kind of had the foresight to put that in there. And Christy has to work out the details on how that's going to look financially, how we handle that. So she and I and anybody we use will work on
Let me get on the weeds just a little bit. On the last debrief that you held regarding one of the fires in this part of the county, we talked about communications. Is this plan also part of addressing? We talked about some of the areas within the responders that were down in the valley. Is this part of this whole thing? How do we make certain that anybody that is fighting a fire, whatever location they're in, they're connected, as often and as much as possible all of the time?
Yeah, that's one reason we went to FirstNet. because we have the capability. All we have to do is call AT&T and say we have an issue out in a canyon somewhere, we need communication. They will supply us repeaters so that we can boost that signal. We're also working with AT&T on a satellite. This is sort of more like a Starlink connection, so we would be, no matter where we are, as long as we have, we're not covered up in a basement somewhere, we'll have that satellite link and be able to communicate more efficiently. That's all part of this. And as we complete this plan, that will open up funding, at least in theory, there's supposed to be $40 million available to address things like that, so we can boost our capability of communications and spotting things and getting to incidents more quickly.
Oftentimes, it seems though the road and bridge crews are going to be the first on scene. A lot of times they're the first on scene. And have you shared that with that plan with Mr. Dornkamp and Keith so that they're aware of how that's going to move forward?
And we're constantly, I copy him on pretty much everything we do so that he's on board with what. When I talk to Keith, and to Brandy, to make sure they're all included in these conversations so that we're all doing things the same way. And working on these plans together, there's nothing better than having everybody working together and coming together with a plan together versus one person dictating, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. How does it work as a unit? How do we do that together? So that is in the part of the plan. Yes, sir.
Joe, I had a question on, when I was in the planning office, there were some areas that were not in any district. Are you addressing some of those?
We have to address those areas. I don't know what the answer is yet.
There's not many.
Yeah, the sheriff is the word now says, I'll complain to the sheriff. I'll let him take
There
that.
are a few areas out there.
Yes. When we have the town halls for each of your districts, and if those places are included in those districts, you will be part of that conversation. That's one reason we want the consultant to help facilitate that with their expertise and control the conversation so we don't get off on some tangent somewhere. We need to focus on the Colorado Fire Protection Plan. So there'll be time to have that discussion. And we won't be limited to one. If we need to come back and revisit it, I believe we can put enough money in the grant that we will have time to, if we need to revisit something, we can do that.
I think this is, you're probably, thank you for bringing this to us. Is there a sensitive date?
We're just waiting your approval. We'll set the dates. It's kind of an algorithm. Once you say go, we'll probably set it up maybe starting the 15th. We have to do advertising for the consultant. Then we made it a really good process, I believe, that we don't really have to take the low bidder. We want the most qualified applicant because a lot of people, they might be a low bid, but we have to recreate things. And I think some of the best advice we got from the state was some of these mapping, for example, it already exists. You don't have to recreate it, and it's not proprietary. It's public information, so we can visit it. We can save money and time and get this done. We're looking like a 12 to 18 month process here to get this done. So that's where we are. So if you give us a blessing, we'll put that package together and then send it to Mr. Dornkamp, the county attorney and Christie for final blessing, and then put it out for bid.
And, since this is kind of a value-added award, I would recommend that your evaluation team to select the vendor. It's broad and certainly not in any way that gives everyone an opportunity to compete equally.
Yeah, the upside of my background as a contractor, I'm pretty good at saying you better have everything. And, I don't want to hear another change order and things like that. Unless we change something, there should be no reflection and things should be held pretty tight to the vest here. But I think we have plenty of money to do that. If we want to take extra time to do something, I think we'll have the time and energy to do that.
Thank you. And I know the opportunity to work for the legal language will give us an opportunity as well to revise whatever needs to be changed. So I have no more questions, Mr. Richards, and I want to thank you for giving this to us. And definitely we'll have an agenda item here soon.
Commissioners, if I may, I believe when Joe and I spoke about this, I'm not sure it was necessarily the board's approval to go out with the RFP or RFQ. It was just to let you guys know that yesterday this is what's happening in order to qualify for that. We get the CWP people together, and then what will come in front of the board, I'm going to assume will be the contract with whoever the committee decides to try and engage with for the CWP. Is that correct?
Yes,
I guess the way I think of it, similar to when we go out for an RFQ, we go out with the RFQ. You guys are aware of it, we go out with the RFQ. Once the committee typically reviews all the respondents' information, then we bring it in front of the board. And the board says,
We're not committing any dollars.
so we're really not making a decision right now. That will be happening.
I appreciate your comment, Mr. Burkett. I think what I'm going to do, regardless, we'll get a decision later on. I still want to have a couple of questions for council.
Okay.
But certainly,
People want me to bring it in front of the board as a consideration item.
I think let us find out. We may not need it. We may not need to bring it back to the board again as consideration to go over an RFP. We just don't want to. I don't want to get into the business of micromanagement.
Yeah, I think the RFP is pretty clear. I think we've got and before we issue one, actually, it'll come before the board, and we'll bring maybe the two low bidders, however we work this out, for question and answers, because this has to be a community decision.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Am I speaking correctly there, Madam Council? Okay.
Yes. So in any event, you'll get thumbs up or down from Mr. Burkett toward the end of the day.
Very good.
Mr. Richards, thank you so much.
Any questions, please give me a call.
Okay, thank you. The next presentation that we have on the agenda is Mr. H. Alderman regarding County Road 75.0. Good morning, Mr. Bowman.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to read this. I put this together. Commissioners have a copy of it. I feel like maybe you have a copy of it. Dear Commissioners, I'm writing to respectfully request two critical actions regarding County Road 75.0. Reduce the speed limit from 45 miles an hour to 35 miles per hour, and pursue necessary improvements to the road surface, including asphalt paving, even if phased sections, and actively seek grant funding to support this effort. County Road 75 has homes with families within 50 feet of the edge of the road on both sides. It is a narrow rural roadway in poor condition, passing through open range where livestock are commonly present. There are families that walk, ride both bikes and horses on this road, and sometimes livestock needs to be moved from pasture to pasture. There have also been several accidents along with a young man who was killed just recently. Additionally, it serves as a school bus route and is designed or designated emergency service corridor, which just last year was used 4 times as an alternative route because the highway was closed. Making safety improvements is not only reasonable but essential. The current speed limit supposedly is 45, excessive under these conditions. Reducing it to 35 would significantly improve the safety for local residents, children, emergency responders, and livestock. Equally important is the condition of the road itself. I urge the county to prioritize adding asphalt surfacing where possible, even if it must be done in phased or partial sections. This would not only improve drivability and reduce long-term maintenance costs, but also enhance public safety. I strongly encourage the county to pursue state and federal grant opportunities to help fund this work. It is also important to note that County Road 75 lies entirely on private easements that are fully taxed and remain on the county tax roll, not at a discounted rate, which possibly needs to be looked at. Property owners are contributing through property taxes on this land, and yet the condition and safety of the road remain inadequate. It is both fair and reasonable to expect public infrastructure investment in this area in return. For these reasons, I respectfully ask that the County Commissioners take action to reduce the speed limit and begin improving the road surface as soon as feasible. Thank you for your time, consideration, and commitment to public safety and responsible infrastructure. One thing, that's just the main part of it. Looking up statute, and Pam could go over this. One thing that I did find is under resident district, and it talks about having homes 300 feet on each side of the road, which it does meet that, and of course it's subject to understanding and interpretation. The other thing I ask is just common sense government. Go for it right out there. I mean, when you get 50 cars on that road, when the highway's closed, it's a mess. It's a mess. You've got a bridge there that is rated for, I believe, 10 tons, and your average semi weighs 40 tons. 4 times over what's supposed to be on that road. Tony, had a lease out there. He traveled that road. He can tell you about this road. It's tight. You get 2 Super Duties or big Dodges, with their mirrors hanging out. You've got maybe 2 feet on the edge of the road, where you do have loose gravel. The other thing is when considering this, I hope that you guys would talk to State Patrol. I hope that you talk to the sheriff, because the sheriff would be enforcing the law out there. And for the past 3 years, we've been dealing with semis going up and down this road, flying up and down this road. I walk this road personally. I've moved cows down this road, and where that kid got killed, I actually had to put some cows in that pasture there, and was nervous the whole time. I had someone parked up on, they call it Dead Man's Hill. Someone parked on top of their hazard lights. We've got to change this. It's not okay. The other thing, trying to understand it, and common sense government. You got 239 that connects to 75.0, where the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. It's 6 to 8 feet wider, and it's maintained. The state takes really good care of it. It's plowed, it's taken care of consistently. Our road, there's not even I forgot the name. It doesn't even have the drainage. When it rains on our road, it is a mess. I urge any of you to drive down that road after it rains. It's a mess. We put this new stuff that's on there, Magchloride, is that what it is? My truck, my brand new truck, has rust all over it. It's bad news, and I've done some research about, what it does to the water table as well. So, I think, I understand a lot of people's hesitation to paving that road because people now think they can drive faster, but the law is the law. If it says 35 miles an hour, it's 35 miles an hour. The highway's paved, but that doesn't mean we can go 110 miles an hour. So I just urge you guys to look at it. Also, Pam can address the legal aspect of this being on record and further litigation of concerns that all the residents on this road signed this. There wasn't one that was like, well, I want it to be 45, or I want it to be faster. Every resident that is a tax-paying resident on that road wants it at 35. That's it. Thank you, guys.
I got a question. More of a comment. You heard my report on the PIF.
Yeah.
That's Environmental Impact Assistance Fund.
Yep.
And I sit on that board, and because those funds are swept from there, and it's going to be a struggle to come up with funding now.
Right. Well, and the other thing that I talked about, Phil, and I forgot to bring this up, and I brought a picture of 2 trucks on the road, where you have maybe 2.5 feet on each side, with the mirrors within 2 feet of each other. One thing that, we got to understand is, we've got kids, we've got kids out there. My kids are learning to ride bikes, and, look at that picture. Can a bike fit on the side of that road doing 45 miles an hour? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then the recourse, you got gravel flying. I was telling you guys about Representative Winter. He was driving by Mr. Cerrone. A rock flew up from his truck and broke his windshield. The representative addressed it and paid for the windshield and stuff. But it's stuff that happens. It's part of it. I was sitting in my mailbox, which is probably 10 feet off the road, and I've gotten sprayed by rocks. I urge you guys just to use, have Derek out there, go out there and stand by the road. watch the cars that go down that road. I mean, I saw cars doing 70, 80 miles an hour, flying down that road. And, yes, a sheriff or someone from law enforcement, state patrol, probably needs to watch it. But if we've got speed limits, as well as I do, if it's 45, people are doing 50, 55. Some people have the 5 mile per hour roll or the 10 mile per hour roll. And you just see a patrol officer, I mean, I was just doing 5 over, I was just doing 10 over, and we just got to be careful with what we're doing. I mean, I've got my boys out there, and there's a lot of people, grandkids, so forth and so on. So I just urge you guys to really look at it and consider that every resident wants it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you for what you guys are doing too. You guys are awesome.
We'll keep looking at opportunities. I know funding is going to be a bit of a challenge, but safety, it's always going to be paramount. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
We are now, Mr. Rocha, do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
No, sir.
Let me ask anyone online at this time, if anyone is interested in addressing the Board of County Commissioners and the public comment, simply raise your hand and mute yourself, and you have 3 minutes. I don't see anyone. So now we're going to go all the way down to Section 9. 9A, consideration of county courtroom change order number 5. That sounds like a song. Change order number 5. Please, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. For your record, Bob Kine, Court Executive for the 3rd Judicial District.
The change order is basically pretty straightforward. You pay $6,000.
Correct. And this one is actually no cost to the county. This is just sort of for your approval because we are partners on this project. This project, just for those of you that don't know what it is, we redid the courtroom, got a bigger bench. We did some furniture, we did attorney tables and seating. So the state part of that project, courtroom seating and attorney tables and things like that, the state paid for out of Denver. The county, through a grant from Judicial, paid for the bench, paid for carpeting and window coverings, things like that. What happened on this request is the seating, we wanted to keep the old historic look of the courtroom, and so we didn't want to put bench seating in, which is what they do all over the state of Colorado in courthouses. They put pews in there. We didn't want that. This is very unique seating, so we said we want to take out the seating, refurbish it, stain it, put some new fabric on there, new stuffing for the seats, and put it back in. The wood that was on the seats, I'm not throwing the contractor under the bus, but the wood was old and was laminated for the seat coverings. So when they put those back on, instead of putting the same screws in the same holes, they had to put thicker screws in. Well, that thicker screws kind of cracked all the laminate seating, and so they slowly started to loosen, they fall out, and so all of the seats are kind of a little bit wobbly now. And so what we want to do with this project is have the contractor, he's got a mold of the seats, basically cut out 45 of those seats, restain them, and reinstall them. So I talked to the state office since they hired the contractor for the original seating and said, is there any recourse that we can do? Did they screw something up? Not really. I think it was just the material that they were working with just old. So they agreed that they were going to pay for it. So what this is just a request for you guys to approve it, a change order. It's going to come out, actually it's going to come out of my budget. I saved some money on personnel, moved it to operating expenses, we'll cover that cost. So I just wanted to give you history and information. It didn't cost the grant, and the grant still got quite a bit of money left in it. There is going to be a request that I'm going to come to Mr. Dornkamp with that is going to take some of that money if you all approve it. But basically they put a podium in there that's too big for the size of that quote. We need to make it about half the size. So our contractor is going to give me a quote on how much it would be to build one because we can't find one that's to purchase. Then they're going to resurplus this one somewhere in the States. But anyway, they won't need to approach you about using some of that money that's still left to the grant. Then what's left over from that grant, we want to request to move to the elevator project because we know that has some cost overruns with it too. Any questions?
Thank you. By the way, I was there last week at that safety meeting, and wow, you guys have had an opportunity to go see the workmanship on those workbooks. I mean, it is impressive. It's really good work.
Is there any time restrictions for the sunset of the grant?
I think the grant's good for 2025. I think that's same as the elevator.
This year.
Did you say December?
September.
September?
September 30th.
September 30th.
Well, I like the fact that the elevator could be the recipient of some dollars. That's always a good thing. So.
Yeah, the architect that I talked to said there shouldn't be any problem with that. She's the decision maker on that. It's got to go to the commission and vote on it and all that. But they've always been good partners with us, underfunded, so I don't see any challenges. They like to help us out. The money's already allocated to Los Angeles County, so I don't see any challenges with taking that money.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for that. By the way, thank you for the yes, Mr. President.
The potential upcoming change order, yes, on what that's going to cost.
They've been pretty reasonable on their cost estimates. No, I don't know because I've been overestimating everything that they give me. So if I say 5,000, I commit 2 or 1,500.
That's I'm just kind of anticipating what we might have available if we need to move towards the elevator. But we'll figure that out.
It doesn't seem complicated to build one of these, but they have the stain and all that stuff so they can customize it for that. But it's not going to be anything fancy. It's just going to be a podium that's about half the size of the one we got now. So I can't imagine that it's that. I mean, I could purchase one for under $1,000. So I can't remember how much it would cost to customize it. So.
Any additional questions, Mr. President? Hearing none, commissioners, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the county courtroom change order 5.
Second motion?
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes, so Mr. President, I think next time you come back, change order number 5, some words to a nice song, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. All right. We're going to go to 9B, consideration of IFB 2025B02 diesel fuel bid. Commissioners, I think Mr. Bowman just sent that email, but back to you, Mr. Dorncap.
Commissioner Foley, for your consideration is IFB 2025D02 diesel fuel bid to be delivered to our fuel farm at the fairgrounds. The following result: 7,200 gallons of diesel to be delivered to our fuel farm. The following results: Acorn Petroleum $2.59 per gallon, World Fuel $2.4296 per gallon, Ohana Valley $2.43 per gallon. Also, bids are support to approve. World Fuel Services bid of $2.4296 per gallon, sticking price $17,493.12.
Any questions? I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the diesel bid be awarded to World Fuel at $2.4296 for a total of $17,493.12.
Second.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes, thank you. We're going to go 9C, consideration of N1990060, your complete report map and fee, Mr. Dorncap.
Commissioners, as per yearly information we send to you all, additional recognition line for each of our bid. This is for the local bid. It's a one total permit, $791 fee plus the charges they add on to use a credit card payment. So that's support to approve. So,
What is this is crazy, the credit card payment, is that $18.56?
I'm sorry?
The credit card payment, so they charge us for,
For the usage of the credit card to pay the annual fee. Yes.
all right, very good. Well, tell them we're gonna be sending you a check.
We can do that.
I'm simply, every place we go, that's
It's
$18.
funny.
Yeah, it's $18, but nonetheless, I mean, it's processes that they have in place. Any place we go, we have to pay for the merchants.
They push it back to them.
Yeah, they push it back to the consumer. So nonetheless, thank you so much for work that you do to Borough County. Questions, commissioners? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve N1990060 complete report, map and D.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. 9D, consideration of M1-198-8039 airport fit report map and fee. Back to you, Mr. Borough County.
Commissioner, similar to the open bid, so this is for the airport bid, this is also one call. Bid fee $790 plus charges for use of the credit card. That's the board to approve.
Sir? Questions, commissioners? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve N1983039 report map.
Second.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. Thank you once again. Consideration, 9E, consideration of M2001015, Sandoval pit report map and fees, Borough County.
Commissioner, similar to the other two, except this is a 110 permit. Fees $323. Limited acreage is just 710, so that's what it's going to.
Thank you, sir.
I support you.
Thank you. Questions, commissioners? I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve N2001015 Sandoval pit report, map and D.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. Thank you. 9F, consideration of M2014019, Mesa de Maya pit report map and fees, Borough County. Be telling a story today.
The same as the others, Commissioners, this is a 110 permitted bid, $323 fee, 5 acres, plus the credit card charge message.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, commissioners? I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve N2014019 use of line report map.
Second.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. Thank you. 9G, consideration of retail liquor license renewal application for Legends Liquors LLC. Council.
I reviewed the applications.
Thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate that. Commissioners, any questions on this item? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve retail liquor license renewal application for the Legends Liquors LLC.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Consideration, 9H, consideration of certificate of tax exempt buyer for taxable fuel used by the sheriff's office. Mr. Borough.
Commissioner, the Sheriff's Department's fleet fuel card will be expiring June 20th of this year. And this is a notice of effective tax exemption which will be expired with that card. And I'm assuming the Sheriff's Department uses a card when they're out of town and or when our fuel lines move Virginia. Otherwise, you fuel out with fairways. So that's important.
Thank you. Is this a 12-month renewal?
Commissioner, I'm not sure what the requirement is. Maybe you share the fees on line, can answer that question.
Yeah, Commissioner, I'm not sure on the expiration if it's yearly. I know in the letter it says there's going to be a new process to do this, but I am not sure about that.
Thank you, Sheriff. That's very good.
Commissioner, I do see on the last page about the third paragraph down, the paragraph that starts with certification. 24 consecutive calendar months. It's a long condition. That's awesome. eyes. Not with a whole face.
AI.
With glasses.
So that's four. Very good, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the sheriff and or Mr. Darrell Campbell, this item? Hearing that, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve certificate of tax exempt hire for taxable fuel used by the sheriff's office.
Second?
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, thank you. 9J, consideration of resolution 25024, Alpine Solar LLC.
Commissioner read mine out.
Oh,
This one?
yes, thank you. Consideration of OBCC number 7032 to Jeffrey W. Murray. Thank you, Mr. President. This particular item comes to us from the treasurer. Pretty standard refund, and at the end of it, the treasurer puts a note, should not have sold the leads. So she itemizes the amount that we are to refund, 104.9. Commissioners, any questions at this time on this item? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve OBCC number 7032 to Jeffrey W. Murray.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. 9J, consideration of resolution 25024, Alpine Solar LLC second permit extension. And remind me, Mr. Barrington, did you read this or have you read this before?
I have not read it, sir.
So please proceed to read the resolution, sir.
A resolution of the Board of County Commission of Los Angeles County, Colorado, reaffirming approval and providing a second and year extension to special use permit number 2023-003, filed by Alpine Solar LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Cypress Creek Renewable LLC, seeking approval for a proposed facility located about 8.6 miles east of the town of Edgewater on approximately 2,081 acres of leased private land in parts of section 6, 7, 8, 17, and 18, township 30 south, range 63 west, and parts of section 12, township 30 south, range 64 west, located in Los Angeles County, Colorado. Resolution number 25-024, whereas Oakland LLC filed special use application number 2023-003 seeking approval for a proposed solar facility, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing on June 20, 2023, and approved there should be as noted, resolution 23-016, and whereas Alpine Solar LLC asked for was given an extension of the special use permit on June 18, 2024, as noted, resolution 24-027. Alpine Solar LLC was granted a second extension of the special use permit on May 20, 2025. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commission of Los Angeles County, Colorado, a second extension request for the start of construction of the special use permit 2023-003 is hereby approved. 2, Alpine Solar LLC will continue to address all project deficiencies to ensure this project is completed in compliance with special use permit 2023-003. 3, Alpine Solar LLC has until June 10, 2026 to begin construction of their special use permit 2023-003. Construction is not commenced by the state. Special use permit 2023-003 will expire. A motion made second for above this resolution was adopted on June 10, 2025, Board of County Commission of Los Angeles County, Colorado, following the signature.
Thank you, Mr. Barrington. Any questions at this time, Commissioners? I will then entertain a motion.
Move to approve resolution 25024, Alpine Solar LLC, second permit extension.
Second?
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. Thank you. 9K, consideration of rescinding 25-C003 Courthouse RSD RFQ PGMC award aspect guaranteed maximum price $160,094. Mr. Barrington?
Mr. Floyd, for consideration, rescinding of a 25-C003 that I asked the board to award to Mountain Aspect at your prior meeting. I was not clear on exactly how, when I brought this in front of the board, which you asked me how I was supposed to proceed. After the board approved it, to keep communication between myself and the owner, non-aspect, it was made clear to me that non-aspect is the design part of this zero-scape project, and the south side wrong, the construction part of it. When I spoke to them prior to their submittal of their information on our RFQ/P request, they told me it would be okay that they came in as a team, a joint venture in essence, in my opinion. And I said, sure, not knowing that they were not a design build, they would be a non-aspect, but they would actually be a combination of these two companies to submit this RFQ. I really don't see any issues that can arise out of this, and we'll be addressing the next two items to look at awarding each phase of the RFQ submittal on the next two items. So I really don't see any reason to not rescind this because we're not able to complete their work as I presented to the board at the last lecture last night.
We concur with that, Commissioners. Any questions? Well, I will entertain a motion.
I will be rescinding 25-C003 courthouse zero-scape RFQ PG and B award to the non-aspect guaranteed maximum price of $160,000.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. So now we give each contractor their due portion.
The board will consider this.
Sir, consideration of 25C003 courthouse zero-scape RFQ P design services to non-aspect with the guaranteed maximum price of $7,625. Thank you for the previous explanations. That you have a design firm and you have a construction firm. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Brown? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
We approve 25C003 courthouse zero-scape RFQ and the design services to non-aspect guaranteed maximum price of $7,625.
Second.
Commissioner Searle? Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, and Mr. Burlingame, this includes a lot of recommendations on the pollinators and all the recommendations that we make. Thank you so much. The next item, 9, consideration of 25C003 courthouse zero-scape RFP construction services to Southside Lawn and Landscaping with guaranteed maximum price of $150,469. Mr. Burlingame, just for the record, would you just any additional information on this?
No, Commissioner, it's pretty straightforward. Once they told me how to interpret their submittal.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. So the amount is the same. So commissioners, any questions for Mr. Burkhardt?
I guess I had, if we approve this, when was there starting?
The design for non-aspect, the prior item approval, maybe they'll start in July. The construction part won't start until next spring. Is what we're anticipating. The workload is planned up until next spring. They thought it'd be a better idea to try to plan the type of vegetation what we might in the spring.
And is there a deadline for those grant funds?
There is, and I believe it is next year at the end of this year.
Okay, great.
And I know we had a long time for maybe 2027.
Okay, well, that's all. Thank you. Any additional questions? I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve 25-C003 courthouse zero-scape RFQ construction services to Southside Lawn and Landscaping with a guaranteed maximum price of $152,469.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. 9N, consideration of revised JBBS, jail-based behavioral services contract with Turnkey Health. I think for this one, we have a sheriff number with us online.
Yes, Commissioner, this is our yearly contract for our services with the state that provide our medicated assistant treatment for our inmates that for the medical issues and also mental health. So this is just something that needs to be reviewed, and I have sent this to Ms. Nelson to review, and Ms. Corbelia has reviewed it, and I believe everything looks good to move forward with that. We just need signatures to approve that.
Sheriff, so let me ask for counsel on the first page, pursuant to agency receipt of state funding for services through June 30th, 2026, agency has an annual pool of $12,000, and then in parentheses, 9,024. There's a discrepancy. Counsel, were you?
And I sent that email, I think about it yesterday as well. I'm not recommending signing it or approving it until you know which number and that it's accurate. So if it's supposed to be 12,000, then we need 12,000 in parentheses. If it's supposed to be 9,000, then we need 9,000 out. I don't know if Derek knows the exact number it's supposed to be, then you can approve it with that edit if it needs to be approved today.
So, Sheriff, it is on the first page of the contract, basically first paragraph, and then we have the second paragraph with two sub-bullets. Then the fourth paragraph is the one that has a bit of two different numbers. On the legend, it says $12,000. In parentheses, they make a reference to $9,024.08. So if you get an opportunity, I think this could be, well, of course, we need to correct it in order for us to sign, and definitely I don't see any other discrepancies. And this is a one-time, whether it's the $12,000 or the $9,000. And then, of course, then you have the $13,414.66 per month. Which is, that one is correct, but it's the one paragraph and the discrepancy on the written out amount versus the one in parentheses. So if you wouldn't mind confirming that for us.
Yes, I can, and I know that we had a brief meeting with the administration of Turnkey Health, Christy, Cobley, and I'm not sure, we did discuss that, and if she could maybe explain if that was covered or not. It is confusing, I agree.
So when I asked the lady from Turnkey, April, because I asked about the $9,024.88, and she explained to me, because I wanted to make sure that was, because we paid pharmaceutical, and I wanted to know if that was the amount, but she said it was for the mental health as well, the MAT, she said. So that's why I didn't really notice the 12,000. So that's when she said that the 9,024 is for the mental health for the MAT part of it. So I didn't notice the discrepancy when her and I had that discussion. And she did tell me about the 9,000, but I'm not going to say it's the 9,000 because she was looking at the contract at the time. This was just a phone conversation that I had with her. So that's why we probably need to have April, because she's with Turnkey, correct, Derek?
Yes, she is.
Right, so I'm saying maybe she needs to see if there's a discrepancy with that one, because all I asked was about the 9,020. I want to know it was such a small amount, because our pharmaceutical was high.
Yeah, I think what we need to do on this one is just clarify that. So, Sheriff, to be on the safe side, I think the recommendation would be right now at this point in time, table this, and if we need to go into executive, that would be absolutely okay. Table that, or simply approving it conditionally later on with the correct amounts. But I think at this point in time, we're probably better off just laying it on the table and postpone it. Council?
We have a meeting next week again, so.
Okay. And the meeting, there we go. Okay, so the Sheriff, hopefully you can reach out to Turnkey and get or Finance Director appropriately and get a clarification on that. And I just would like to see that fourth paragraph corrected.
Yes, I can do that. I'm gonna attempt to get possibly a meeting on Zoom between her and Ms. Copeland. To clear it up, and then we can address it at a different time.
Thank you, sir. So at this point in time, commissioners, unless there is any other recommendation, I would entertain a motion to table this item.
I would move to table 9N, revised JDDS contract for turnkey development.
Second?
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, thank you. And so now we are going to move on to financial matters. Consideration of payroll and bills for the second half of May 2025. Finance Director Overview.
Payroll as of May 30th, 2025 is $224,166.44. Do you have any questions on payroll? Invoice paid on May 28th, 2025 for $142,326.58. And the only place I saw that might have been a question was the Motorola Solutions, that was for the sheriff. So it's a service that we actually give annually for body cameras for $14,700. And there's anything else that we might have a question on the invoices.
Pretty straightforward, so. Thank you, Finance Director. Any questions for Finance Director? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve payroll and bills for the second half of May 2025.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, I really enjoy this second portion of financials, May 2025 for information purposes only. The one white paper, Finance Director, thank you, that tells us the story where the county is, but please proceed.
So for general fund, we have a surplus of $671,000. We have property taxes come in, sales taxes come in, so we're looking good so far. Road and Bridge has a deficit of $978,000. I did actually transfer the funds from PILT and from the sales tax payment in June, so you'll see next month. His account will look much better.
So the story will look better.
Yes, it's going to look better. Airport has a deficit of $54,000. Contingent has a surplus of $50,000. Capital expenditure has a surplus of $395,000. Lottery has a surplus of $10,000. PILT, we haven't we haven't moved anything yet or received anything for PILT yet. LAF has a surplus of $914. And the jail improvement fund has a deficit of $4,558. I have not transferred any money to the jail improvement fund yet. So altogether for all of them, we have a surplus of $91,000.
Yes, and one question I was going to ask Finance Director is on the capital expenditure fund. I mean, are there any other projects that may be a calendar that would impact that fund balance?
The elevator is in there. Any project we're going to do for the zero escaping, for the fairgrounds, anything that happens is going to happen there. But a lot of it, I think, is grant money that actually also will come in as well as pay for that.
And then the airport, you'd be transferring funds
From capital, so yeah, capital will be paying for the airport as well. Yes. Yeah.
And I know this is a very small fund, the Conservation Trust and Lottery. And the fund balance is pretty small. I mean, it's $10,000.
No, that's just the surplus as of this year.
Okay.
Fund balance, we can look at that on the page. We want to see the fund balance for that. For capital expenditure, the fund balance right now is 2.6. Yeah, and then lottery, you can see, I think that's about 500,000, I think. Lottery is 554,000. But yeah, that's just the surplus as of 2025.
Great work. Commissioners, any questions for Finance Director? That was information only. This is the section that we're going to go into executive session. The board will meet under CRS 24642 for being confirmed with the county attorney attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions. We have item A, Great Outdoors Colorado. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to suspend the Board of County Commissioners and enter into executive session with 10-minute recess.
So moved.
Commissioner Searle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes. We'll see you shortly.